With Amazing Woman Get It Done. Super excited to be with you today because I don't know about you, but getting caught up in the frenzy seems to be at an all-time high right now. And so I really felt called to bring Christine Howard onto the show. She speaks about stepping out of the frenzy, stepping into flow. We talk about creativity on this series. We talk about how can we stay in that space of calm and ease and grace and focus and determination and all things good when it comes to getting our entrepreneurial ventures out into the world. So Christine, welcome. I'm happy to have you on the show.
Thank you, Marsh. I am so excited to be here with you. Always enjoy our conversations.
So I just right at the top of the show, I want to encourage everyone that is tuned in to give me a thumbs up or I'm a here or any questions that you might have, because I love connecting with you. I'm going to try to do my best to watch the comments. I know I go after the show and speak to all of you, but if I can track your comments and we can bring some of your questions on the show, I'm going to do my best to do that today. So Christine, we are talking about getting it done, and Amazing Woman Get It Done, Amazing Women Get It Done. And how can we as amazing women stay focused and determined no matter what the time, no matter what the circumstances? And I just want to hear about some of your practices, you personally right now, and then we'll get into some suggesting some ideas for everyone. And I've got some things to share as well. But talk to me about what has this been like for you from the onset?
Yeah. Well, I will say in full disclosure, I went through my own mourning, my own sadness, my own sense of loss, because I had a lot of great things on my plan that I was super excited to step into this next round or this next evolution of my work and what I was bringing to life. So I acknowledge first and foremost that this was bothering me. This was, sadness to me, this loss that I felt. But then I stayed in that place of consciousness, knowing that while I was feeling these things, I also had the power, right, to choose a new path. And I'm a firm believer and live this way, that if one door closes, and I can open another one. And so early on, that is exactly the mindset that I adopted, that, let it flow through me, let the sadness flow through me, and then say, okay, and now what? Be open to a new possibility, a new idea coming forth. And that's exactly, how I proceeded to go. And you mentioned when we were chatting earlier about mantras. I've had this mantra for a while, but I really brought it front and center, is that I am the co-creator of my life always, and especially now. And it helped me it really did help me to take my power, because there was so much, the chaos, the frenzy was our power's been taken away from us. We've been dictated certain things, and whether you agreed with it or not, life as you knew it drastically changed. So what can I control? There's a lot.
And we have the ability anytime to the way we perceive something. We can either look for the good or we can look for the challenge. And I, like you, went through my period too. There was had a big event that was sold out. It was the first event I was speaking on stage since, for maybe 18 months, because I'd had some health issues that I had dealt with. And I was super, super inspired to connect in person with people. And when all that turned upside down, we of course pivoted very quickly. We did a live online stream of the event, but still, even at that, it was letting go of the way I thought things should be so that I could open up to see the way things wanted to be. And when I made that, that shift in my mindset to, wait a minute, if I'm being shown better ways, if I'm being shown more creative ways, if I'm being shown something that I can spend my time with, invest my creativity in right here and now, what is that? And how can I begin to do that in a way that I come through this very empowered and in a better place? I know that Dr. Joe Dispenza spoke. I heard him speak one day, and he was talking about how he'd made this agreement with himself and he was bringing it to his community. And I did the same. I exact same thing. And that was, I'm going to come through this stronger,
yes,
more creative, more inspired, just more prepared than ever before. And I think that it's about making that decision, but making the decision is one thing and staying true to the decision is another. Exactly. You make the decision and then a hiccup happens,
Right.
and you wake up one day and it's like, oh my gosh, this
Right.
is, I've been inside, I think for 2 months now.
Yes.
I took it very, very seriously. The minute they said stay in, I did exactly that. And I've been in for about 2 months now, very little outside. And that's been very challenging because I love nature.
Mm-hmm.
And I love connection with people. And I wear the mask when I do go out, but I love to smile at people. And I love to talk to people when I'm walking down the street or hiking. Right. And, those are minor inconveniences compared to what anyone that's going through major health crisis right now and has lost family and friends. But I think that it's getting to all of us one way or the other. So let's talk about what can we do to not only make the decision to look for the opening in our creativity, but also how can we stay true to that decision?
Yes.
Some ideas you have.
Well, one of the key things is it takes an intention, right? When we make that shift to say, okay, I'm open to a new way. And I set an intention to, like you said, come out of this even better. And I was consciously open to what is that new thing that I can bring to life now, or new things that can serve my community, that can better me as a person. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of an initial intention to step into new opportunities and new possibilities. And then I kept that intention in front of me. And how I did that.
I was going to ask, how did you do that?
I kept it in front of me in a couple ways. First, I am such a paper person. If you were like, this camera was to be lower, you'd see some papers around me. I love writing it down on cards in my planner and in my journal. So I would write down, and I have written down, my intention. I have multiple intentions, and then I connect with it every day in some form. A lot of times we know things are going to happen, and I actually spoke about this in one of the episodes I did recently on moving forward while staying put, which is something new that came out of this for me. Is a daily series I've been doing. I talked about our obstacles being opportunities for growth. Mm-hmm. So having that intention in front of me, here's where I want to go. I want to bring some new things to life, serve my community in new ways. I created an e-course, which was part of it, and this daily series. And obstacles definitely happened and a lot of that was my growing edge. And so how amazing to have the opportunity, the gift to address your growing edges through these obstacles. Mm-hmm. So,
yes. One of the things that I've really adopted, and I preach this and now I'm practicing it even more, and that is a spiritual practice. So I know that I've spoken about this on the show more than once, probably multiple times, but I'm up at 6 o'clock in the morning in a meditation group. I'm doing breath work 1 or 2 days a week with a teacher. I'm studying as much as I possibly can to keep my mind really occupied and filled with what will move me forward and help to educate my work and inform my work in a deeper way. So I think there's things that we can do that really help to move us forward. One of the things is, if we were to imagine, hard to imagine, but let's do that. Let's imagine that this is in divine order, that this is an opportunity for us to transform and elevate. If that's the case, the question would be, in what ways can I invest this time and energy to elevate myself, to elevate my community? How can I elevate? And when I asked that question, it was study, read, watch, I just disconnected Netflix because I think it's a waste of my time now. It feels like it's in this rich study, which, by the way, a lot of great stuff on YouTube that's free. Yes. You don't even have to sign up for a class, although there's a lot of great classes as well that you can sign up for. I think that it's really about this mindset that says as you spoke earlier, I cannot control the fact that I'm housebound.
Right.
I can't control this. Now, what can I do to invest my time and energy in a better way? One of the things, I just wrote an article that I posted up on Amazing Woman Nation, the blog there. And I was speaking about, what did I speak about? A deep focus workspace. I think that's something that we can really look to creating for ourselves. And I kind of took the Marie Kondo approach to how organized am I? What is my workspace? Is my workspace designed for the forward visioning of where I'm going? We can do that right now. We can create a workspace. Like one of the first things I did was created a home studio, so that I could begin to broadcast and create the series that we're creating. We have multiple series that we're launching in still yet the rest of this year. And I wanted to have an in-home studio that I could do that in. And my workspace now is visioned and created for where I'm moving. Is there any change that you made that dramatically moved you into a future visioning that you might hold for yourself?
One of the things I will say that I've been extremely consistent in is my morning meditation practice. And it's a combination of meditation and journaling. So similar to you, I have been asking, what is wanting to come through me, and really being open to getting what I call those divine downloads. And I've seen, as I've been consistent, and it's funny, consistency really kind of sharpens the saw. It gives you mastery. It gives you expansion and elevation in whatever you're working on. When I first started the journaling, it was basically me dumping all the thoughts that were on my brain. And this maybe, was going on for a week. And part of the idea was to clear my mind, to be an open vessel for source, for God, for higher wisdom to come through me. And so I started to see myself not just as somebody who was bringing my message to the world, bringing my work to the world with my, my purpose. I saw myself as a conduit, right? And so it shifted my perspective in a big way, that there's so much more that I can bring if I let go, of it having to look a certain way, be a certain way. So the daily practice of meditation, quiet space, getting, information. Sometimes I ask questions, sometimes I just sit and listen, but the journaling then becomes in this conversation. And I've had some amazing things happen, which were conversations between me and my higher self, or me and God or source. And how it helped me to evolve is to really, again, let go of the grip a little bit of things having to come to life a certain way and in a certain timeline. And I'm very focused on, I want to bring to life the things I commit to, but now I see there is, to your point, a bigger divine order. So it's helped me to continue to take that inspired action every day, every week, and hold things loosely where I can pivot, because my heels aren't so dug into.
Yes, exactly. I love that. So it's more about, what I'm hearing you say, it's more about listening deeply rather than controlling what I think I should be doing, and pausing and allowing myself to be guided to where the next best action is.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing to me when we make that commitment. I see some people writing, I'd love to hear any ideas that you have, that you've put into practice, that has helped you to stay focused, helped you stay, I think, in bold action is another conversation that we could have, because now is a time for bold action, whether that be letting go of the way we thought things should be, and allowing something brand new to come in, saying yes to some of the things that maybe we put over on the side for a while. I'm halfway through my next book, already writing it. It's amazing to me when you dedicate the time and you have that dedicated space and you say, yes, I'm doing it. It's like it just comes through. So I'm moved and inspired by that. I think it's about saying yes to some of the things. Maybe there's a book in you that's wanting to be written that you've thought of for a long time. Maybe there's a class that you're wanting to take. Maybe there's a class that you're wanting to teach or give structure to. Maybe there's online programs. Maybe there's a podcast or a video stream that you're wanting to do. I say you do it all. I say right now is a time of bold action. Whatever will keep you connected to your creativity. And what keeps us connected to our creativity more than anything is allowing our creativity to be given away, shared, brought out to the world. Our creativity, it comes to us in order for us to impact and influence and inspire and move others. So it's not about just keeping it to ourselves. So I think that anything that comes to you creatively, the more you can give it structure and form, let's go for it. I'm teaching a class right now that's called Emerge. And it's so fun because what we did was we came together and a dynamic group came together and we defined our sacred why. And it's amazing to me how often in coaching practices or in our business building that we skip that step of knowing exactly what that deep desire is, what it is that's really moving us. And now we're moving into a visioning practice that I created called intuitive visioning, which is very different than the outside structuring of a vision. It's more from that intuitive knowing about wants to be created. So I'd love to hear some of the ideas of what everyone that's watching is doing to stay focused and in your intuitive flow and into your practice of creating, whether it's be building a business. And for the most part, most of the amazing women in this community are entrepreneurial.
Right. While waiting, there was one thing that that popped in my mind is that so many people are reevaluating their lives, right? Yeah. So it's not just, oh, how do I pivot and now do my business differently? With this pause, people are taking a step back and saying, wow, what was good about my life? What wasn't good? And do I want to even go back to living in the way I was before?
Yes. So it's such a great point. That's such a great point.
Yeah. And there's power in that. There's power in the pause regardless. So for some people, it might be that perfect time to bring to life some of these projects that have been on the back shelf. For other people, it is a total reevaluation. But to what your point of that bold action, take whatever bold action is what's needed for where you're at in your life. It could be a pivot in business. It could be a reorienting of your life. And any one of those is the perfect next step for you.
Or both. It could be both. Yes.
It is staying connected. The common denominators, you're staying connected to that inner voice, to that inner creativity, to that inner wisdom, and creating from that place is a powerful place to create from.
It absolutely is. I'm wondering what else I have on this this blog post that I did, because it was a good one. I just sat down. I think we kind of touched on this, but it's mindfulness.
Yes.
One of the things that I got early on from this is that every day I do not have to be completely put together and in control, or in control of what I'm feeling or focused. It's actually the opposite. The more I could let myself feel whatever it was I was feeling. If I was feeling fear, I let myself feel fear all the way through. If I was feeling sad or somehow disconnected, I would allow myself to be that. I wouldn't hurry up to try to fix it.
Right.
Let myself flow in that and feel it all the way through. So I think that it's so important for all of us, no matter what our focus is to be okay with what we're feeling. And, we don't have to sit with it forever, because we can certainly understand that our emotions are something to be felt and that we can also make friends with. We can create a relationship with. So for mindfulness, I think is incredibly important about what am I feeling right now? And then one of the questions I often ask my clients to do is ask, what is it that my body is wanting right now? What do I need right now? If you can take a walk, is it my body needing walk? Is it water? Is it rest? Is it stillness? Right. Is it less busyness? I did a meditation the other day and I heard so loud and clear, stop working. Stop working, which could be interpreted many, many different ways. But it gave me pause to think of, am I working smart? Am I investing my creativity in the way that is best suited? It gave me this contemplation of reflection to see, what is that really saying to me? So I think in that stillness and in that mindfulness, there's a rich information that flows to us that can help to guide us as well.
100%. And it's that facing whatever comes up, right? You observe it, that I have this, and I've had it multiple times, and it will hit me like a little wave, and I want to turn away. When we have those busy, frenzied lives, I love that intro, we can justify not looking at it because we don't have time, or whatever. It's that treadmill. But when you're in that pause, which again, a lot of people are facing this uncomfortableness that they maybe haven't had to deal with, it's a beautiful gift that they're given to face what that is, and to connect with what does your body need and what is behind this emotion that's coming up. There's been little layers of stories I've cleared like every week.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing to me. I'm getting ready to I'm doing this breath work I mentioned earlier, and I'm bringing on actually the practitioner that's leading this program because it's been so transformative for me. I think that through that mindfulness of breathing, it's brought up so many little, I call them dust bunnies. It's like little pieces from my past, but that were very instrumental in the way that I perceive, or the way I create my own image of myself, the way I see myself, the way I interpret my future. Sometimes these little small remnants of beliefs can really get in our way. So I think that it's really a big idea. The other thing that's been so important, and I know that I've spoken about this a lot, I feel like I'm saying a lot of what I've said before, but all of these are so important, I believe, is that's community. And that's about having a partner, a friend, a community of friends. And this could be, when I say that, I mean, it doesn't have to be lots of people. It's somebody that you can get real with. Right. If you're scared that day, if you're feeling down that day, if you've got something to celebrate and you're feeling happy and joyful that day, whatever it is, it's up for you. I think it's so important that we stay connected. And, one of the reason that I did Amazing Women Get It Done is that I wanted to stay connected. I wanted to share, but I also wanted to receive. I wanted to hear from you and know what you're up to and understand what it is that's working for you.
Right. Community is huge right now. And community where we're lifting each other up and encouraging, and not focused on the negativity, but facing and supporting and uplifting is huge. And I'm checking on your comments here. It looks like Tambra has something she shared.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me push show. Sorry, I'm so this is so
good. We're
such a virgin when it comes to, but I'm so proud. It's like one of my what I will remember through this time is this was a period where I ventured out, took a bold action, and decided to learn
technology. So proud of you, Marsh.
I have support. I have a producer that supports me, but I said, I need to learn this to do this myself as well. I mean, it's great that I have the staff, the support for it, but I also, if I want to jump on one day, I needed to learn how to do it. Anyway, let's get back. One thing that has been helpful for me is to schedule my writing time in the morning. After I meditate, the writing flows so much easier and more naturally. Isn't that great? Yes. Tamara, I'm wondering, do you think that meditation opens you up to new insight, or do you feel that it's before the day has gotten started and maybe some outside influence comes in? I'm wondering what creates a morning writing ritual that is powerful for us. I think it's something to listen to, though. It's a great suggestion, Tambra. Thank you. So a morning writing ritual speaks very much to what you spoke to earlier about what is it in the artist way. It's called morning pages.
And I will say, to Tambra's point, my day, and this is one of the things I would suggest for people, is having some core blocks that they schedule. My top 3: number 1, meditation; number 2, journaling; number 3, physical activity. And I can tell I'm so dialed in with my body, mind, and spirit that if I miss 2 days, I am way off. So I can, miss one of those elements one day, but it makes such a difference to how grounded and centered and empowered and, where my mindset's at, where my heart is at. It all works together synergistically.
So I think routine is what I'm hearing you say. Routine. Find the routine that supports you creatively, that supports you physically, mentally, spiritually, soulfully, that connects you with all aspects of who you are. I love that.
Right.
That's great. Tamara is saying,
clears all the noise.
It opens your mind and clears all the noise. Isn't that the truth? Frenzy, another word for frenzy could be noise.
Noise, absolutely.
Noise. Are we leaning into too much noise?
Right.
If we are, remember, we can make the decision to step out of the noise. We don't have
to be very intentional to. Well, here's the other thing that is like one other key component is, I will say I have totally upped my self-love. And I've been, since my transitions, been a big self-love person. And at the same time, I see when we do get rolling, right? We get on the roll of stuff happening. It's easy to cut corners. And I just so have pulled back in that bubble while I'm getting things done, but to honor and nurture myself and like love myself physically, right? Like, this is the body that's bringing forth the message, that's writing the words, that's letting the thoughts flow through me. So it's really reinforced. It's critical to take care of myself in body, mind, and spirit. And
what we've been talking about is exactly that. It's, meditation is self-love. Giving yourself that pause and listening deeply is that pause, is that self-love, is that self-care. I think that sometimes self-care can be thought of as a bubble bath or, a walk in the park. No, self-care is about expressing what we're feeling. Self-care is about giving ourselves that pause, that time, those sacred moments where we really connect in deeply. Mm-hmm. What does our body need? What are we needing right now? And also, self-care and self-love could also be, how can I reach out and share some more of what I'm about, my genius? How can I begin to contribute that in a bigger way? Because that's also self-love, I believe, by honoring and valuing the gifts that we've been given and how they can make a difference in our communities and our world. So I think self-love and self-care comes through in many, many myriad of ways. And we're really just now beginning to learn how very powerful that is, to be able to give ourselves that time of connection, like we've spoken about.
100%. Yeah. When things are taken away, or there's that fear of things being taken away, it helps you to really reevaluate and see, how have I been showing up for myself? And use that gift of time too.
Yeah, I think one of the, I was just looking at this article that I had written, and investing in yourself. And that's what we've been talking about. We've been talking about vision building. We've been talking about practice bravery, and that's about stepping out. Rest, that's something that we've not spoken about. Rest. What is rest? Rest is not necessarily sitting and watching Netflix for hours.
No.
Rest is creating ritual around what will most regenerate and replenish our energy. Mm-hmm. So what is that for you is a great question. What is rest?
Well, I am a big believer in the physical rest. So number one, I really try and keep a solid schedule of sleep and the nighttime routine. And I am getting up early. We have an early household, and everyone, including the dog, is up at 5 o'clock. So it's important to really get a good night's sleep. And then I will say I take little breaks. It could be 5 minutes. It could be 10 minutes. I had lunch out on my deck yesterday, and I set the timer with some music on this meditation app for 10 minutes. And I just sat there with my eyes closed. Nothing needed to be thought of. Nothing needed to be done. It was just be still. And it was the most amazing little rest I had. I didn't fall asleep, but I just felt so connected to myself and my soul and my heart and life. And it was a beautiful mini moment for myself.
Well, what we do, I think we've undervalued rest for what it brings to us energetically to keep our emotions and spiritually aligned, our emotions in line, our focus in alignment, everything. So what is it that will create rest for you? I think I'm very sensitive to colors. So I have a lot of soft colors around me, like a lot of ivories. I'm very aware of sacred sounds. So there's a lot of music. I think we touched on a deep focus office environment earlier, but I think that we overlook how important it is, the environment that we're sitting in and what it does to our nervous system and how it allows us to either rest or be on high alert.
Right.
Or high alert. So I think that it's for everybody. I believe it's touching again on mindfulness. Notice how your body is feeling and what brings you that sense of rest. I'm just reading Melinda Peters. Thank you. She said, important to stop and listen. Isn't that the truth?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm similar to you in that sound and just I love some of the background music, and I'll play that periodically. My house, when I remodeled it, when I moved, the whole thing is set up to be a sanctuary for me. So I'm definitely sensitive to that, and I don't think people realize that. So I love that you've been setting up your office. I had to go through a little paper clearing recently, but when there's clutter, it clutters your mind. There's an anxiety to it because it's a lot of unfinished business, right? So
yes, exactly.
Where can we create space, not just in our calendar and not just in our mind, but in our physical environment? That was actually one of my episodes also on moving forward while staying put. So very important.
All of this, the whole conversation is about how can we amplify our creativity? How can we stay present to what's here for us? That's from an empowered perspective. What have we been blessed with in this time? And sometimes it's challenging to look in that direction, but I truly come from a place of knowing that if I've been given this time, yes, there's something enriching happening that's taking place here, and let's step into that and hold the space for that new to come in. I want to make sure everybody knows to go to amazingwomannation.com. If you pull down the link there for Amazing Woman Get It Done, you're going to be able to tap into a whole collection of great gifts that have been put together there by the Amazing Woman Nation teachers, authors, speakers, including, you want to tell a little bit about your gift that you included?
Absolutely. I wish I had a copy sitting here. Maybe a couple, right before the quarantine, actually, I physically received my books. It's called Soul-Centered Fulfillment, and it's a 14-day journey for you to awaken to your calling and to step into movement toward achieving that with grace and ease and joy and flow. So it's a really bite-sized but powerful book that will introduce you to a new way of living, leading, and achieving, which I call radiant achievement.
And so, perfect time for this. Exactly.
It's a perfect time for this. Exactly. And like we are stepping into a new society. Mm-hmm. I say step into the radiant achievement society and live from your soul, live from your heart, and really bring to life your calling. So my gift is a copy of this book. It's an e-copy of the book that is available in my app. So you can have it with you every day, flip pages, take notes, step into action on it.
It's great. So that's a free gift. It's over at amazingwomannation.com, and grab a copy of that for free. I know there's also an ebook on there, I think from who else? I think Heather Salmon has a recipe and a video. I think there's an ebook from Pamela Plick on financial wisdom. There is what else is on there? Okay, Heather Salmon also is a sound meditation. You know, I'm a big believer and a user of sacred sound to create a connection with creativity. And she has a beautiful sacred sound audio. There's a lot of good stuff. I could go on and on. Connie Ponturo has a great fitness videos that she's included. I'm calling it, I think it's a quick start or a jump start to getting it done. And what I mean when I say amazing woman, get it done, it's do whatever it is that will fortify your energy, bring you present, have you honoring what you're here to share, and moving forward in a dynamic, powerful way. Love each of you so very much. Christine, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for being here. And we'll be back again next Wednesday. I may be throwing in some additional brief interviews because I have a lot of people that are looking to share the information that will support us as we move through and out and into a more empowered world. Sending you big, big love. Thank you for being with us today.
Welcome.
See you soon.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.